Days, Pangani evictions are this morning set to issue a statement protesting against the move by the Nairobi County government to evict them from their homes. Parts of their houses were demolished yesterday in a bid to forcibly move them out to pave way for construction of affordable houses under President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda. Our reporter Mary Mwoki is live for us from the ground and joins us for more. Mwoki, what more do the victims have to say?
We are live at Pangani where we were yesterday. We're still keeping on the story, and as you can see behind me, the buildings or the structures that were there yesterday have been flattened. Bulldozers came in yesterday and the remaining families have moved out. Most of them spent another night on the cold like they did the previous day, and the thing that the residents here are demanding for is a holding facility as they sort out their lives, as they make arrangements to move to new places, to get new houses. And they're complaining in the manner in which, and I was talking to a representative from an organization that deals with victims of such things, and she was telling me that it is becoming a trend that all evictions had been done in July, part of it being that the weather is particularly cold at that time, and the other fact being, of course, that the courts will be going on a break in August, so getting any certificate or any interim orders will be a very difficult thing for the next month. Now let's bring in Pauline, who's going to shed more light on the plight that the victims are going through right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Mary.
So from the point of the victims who've been evicted in a manner that they are terming as illegal and inhumane, what next for them?
Well, I think what we are contesting is the process in which these forced evictions have been done. There were negotiations that were ongoing with the county government. A few of the tenants were given compensation of 600,000. A few of the other tenants did not accept the compensation, and so they were still negotiating with the county government on the best modes for payment. But the county did not take heed of their own policies, like the urban renewal policy that they just came up with in February, the land laws that give the procedure in which an eviction should take place, and just very importantly and fundamentally, eviction should not take place at night. And that's what we've seen happening here from the day before to today morning at 4 a.m. The eviction took place at night. The vulnerable children, the vulnerable women, persons with disabilities, they were not given any special consideration. The bulldozers just came in without any notice. There was no written notice as well that was given to the tenants. It was basically a verbal notice for the tenants who received the money, and also there was no special consideration given to the tenants to remove their property as a first instance instead of demolishing and forcefully evicting them. So the manner in which the evictions has taken place is very, very inhumane. And we know there are very many other council estates that are due for urban renewal and regeneration. So the question is this what the process will be? It will be forced eviction. You know, women...
Sorry, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You've mentioned something about the urban policy.
Yeah.
What exactly does it state, and has it been effected? Has it been signed into law yet?
So I know that the policy was still undergoing consultation, the county policy, but we have already enacted national laws that give procedure to eviction, and it says that, you know, one shall not be evicted to be rendered homeless. There needs to be alternative, there needs to be compensation that is going to be given. Now the families who've been evicted here today, it's mid-month, where are they going to go? You need to pay deposit, you need to find a house. The families here are big families, so where do you find a big house at this time of the month? And also, what is the rent that they're going to be asked, where they're going to go, because some of the tenants did not receive any compensation from the county government.
Speaking of compensation, yesterday the government issued a statement and said that they had made compensation for most of the homeowners, I think around 48 of them. So this issue that some tenants have been compensated, others have not received any compensation, where is the disconnect coming in?
Now, I think part of the tenants received the compensation because they were happy with whatever sums the county government was giving. Some of them protested and they had their own lawyer. They went to court. The matter is coming up tomorrow for inter-parties hearing, and they were contesting some of the clauses in the agreement, and they were saying that they were not too sure whether they'll be given first option to come back, and even if the affordable houses are done, are they going to be able to afford them? Because it's going to be 3 million. So how many people are going to afford that kind of house? And also what they were contesting is that it was too short of a period for them to be able to negotiate conclusively with the county government. And the county had gone ahead, issued draft agreements for them to give their input. They had taken that to their advocate. So there was a sense of utmost good faith going on between the county and the tenants. So it was a surprise for them to be descended upon by the county forcefully evicting them. So that is the main issue of contention.
And this 600,000 that is becoming a matter of contention right now, how was that figure agreed upon? Based on what?
So I think the tenants and the county government, both parties came up with that agreement. But I think the ones who chose to take the money were happy with the figure. The ones who did not choose to take the money were not happy with the figure because of the existing rent amounts around this area. So if it's 600,000, I think that means maybe per month would be around 20,000. And so in Pangani, I think most houses go for around 45,000, a decent 2 or 3 bedroom house. So I think that's what they were contesting and saying that the amount given is not commensurate to the market area that they're supposed to rent from.
But the fact that some tenants agreed to accept the check, doesn't it make it binding on the others now?
Absolutely not. It is not binding to the others because I think this was a negotiation done per individual tenant. So the ones who took the compensation is supposed to be binding upon them. The ones who did not take it felt aggrieved and they went to court. And they were hoping that the court would pronounce itself on this matter. And so that's why they chose to follow the process of the law and also to be patient and see whether the county would come up with a good negotiation or a good compensation package for them. Yeah.
All right. There you have it, Michelle. We're still keeping on the story, most importantly to understand the plight of these victims who have been evicted, and most of them have nowhere to go. If we had a lot of room, would show you where they're still camped out with their household equipment, with their children, and they're still hoping that something will be done that will get their children and their families out of the biting July cold. Michelle.
All right, Mary, many thanks. That is a Mary Moki live for us.